Hello and welcome. My name is Alan and we are back with more In the Buddha's Words. Today we are reading chapter 5, part 3, or section 3. But anyway, it's broken up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 small parts, but they're not big to read, so let's jump into this. Section 3, Part 1. If people knew the result of giving. O monks, if people knew, as I know, the result of giving and sharing, they would not eat without having given, nor would they allow the stain of niggardliness to obsess them and take root in their minds. Even if it were their last morsel, their last mouthful, they would not eat without having shared it, if there were someone to share it with. But monks, as people do not know, as I know, the result of giving and sharing, they eat without having given, and the stain of niggardliness obsesses them and takes root in their minds. Section 2. Reasons for giving. There are, O monks, 8 reasons for giving. 8 people give out of affection, or in an angry mood, or out of stupidity, or out of fear, or with the thought, such gifts have been given by my father and grandfather, and it was done by them before. Hence, it would be unworthy of me to give up this old family tradition, or with the thought, by giving this gift, I shall be reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world after death. Or with the thought, when giving this gift, my heart will be glad, and happiness and joy will rise in me. Or one gives because it ennobles and adorns the mind. Part 3. The gift of food. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling among the Kolians at a town called Sajanela. One morning, the Blessed One dressed, took his upper robe and upper robe and bowl, and went to the dwelling of Supavasa, a Solian lady. Having arrived there, he sat down on the seat prepared for him. The Kolian lady, Supavasa, attended to the Blessed One personally and served him with various kinds of delicious food. When the Blessed One had finished his meal and had withdrawn his hand from the bowl, the Kolian lady Supavasa sat down to one side, and the Blessed One addressed her as follows. Supavasa, a noble female disciple, by giving food, gives 4 things to those who receive it. What 4? She gives long life, beauty, happiness, and strength. By giving long life, she herself will be endowed with long life, human or divine. By giving beauty, she herself will be endowed with beauty, human or divine. By giving happiness, she herself will be endowed with happiness, human or divine. By giving strength, she herself will be endowed with strength, human or divine. A noble female disciple by giving food, gives those four things to those who receive it. Part 4, a superior person's gifts. There are, O monks, these 5 gifts of a superior person. What 5? He gives a gift out of faith. He gives a gift respectfully. He gives a gift at the right time. He gives a gift with a generous heart. He gives a gift without denigration. Because he gives a gift of faith, wherever the result of that gift ripens, he becomes rich, affluent, and wealthy. And he is handsome, comely, graceful, endowed with supreme beauty of complexion. Because he gives a gift respectfully, wherever the result of that gift ripens, he becomes rich, affluent, and wealthy, and his children and wives, his slaves, messengers, and workers are obedient, lend their ears to him, and apply their minds to understand him. Because he gives a gift at the right time, wherever the result of that gift ripens, he becomes rich, affluent, and wealthy, and benefits come to him at the right time in abundant measure. Because he gives a gift with a generous heart, wherever the result of that gift ripens, he becomes rich, affluent, and wealthy, and his mind inclines to the enjoyment of excellent things among the 5 chords of sensual pleasure. Because he gives a gift without denigrating himself and others, wherever the result of that gift ripens, he becomes rich, affluent, and wealthy, and no loss of his wealth takes place from any quarter, whether from fire, floods, the king, bandits, or unloved heirs. These, monks, are the 5 gifts of a superior person. Part 5, mutual support. Monks, Brahmins, and householders are very helpful to you. They provide you with the requisites of robes, alms food, lodgings, and medicines in time of sickness. And you, monks, are very helpful to the Brahmins and householders, as you teach them the Dhamma that is good in the beginning, the middle, and the end, and the correct meaning and wording, and you proclaim the spiritual life in this fulfillment and complete purity. Thus, monks, this spiritual life is lived with mutual support for the purpose of crossing the flood and making a complete end of suffering. Part 6, rebirth on account of giving. There are, O monks, 8 kinds of rebirth on account of giving. What 8? Here, monks, a certain person makes a gift to an ascetic or a Brahmin, offering him food, drink, clothing, and vehicles, garlands, scents, and unguents, bedding, lodging, and lighting. In making the gift, he hopes for a reward. He now notices affluent nobles, Brahmins, or householders enjoying themselves, provided and furnished with the 5 objects of sensual pleasure, and he thinks, "Oh, with the breakup of the body after death, may I be reborn among them," and sets his mind on that thought, keeps it firmly, and fosters it. This thought of his aims at what is low, and if not developed, to what is higher, it will lead him to just such a rebirth. With the breakup of the body, after death, he will be reborn among affluent nobles, Brahmins, or householders. This, however, I declare only for the morally pure, not for the immoral. For it is due to his purity, monks, that the heart's desire of the morally pure succeeds. Then again, a certain person makes a gift to an ascetic or a Brahmin, offering him food, drink, clothing, and vehicles, garlands, scents, and unguents, bedding, lodging, and lighting. In making the gift, he hopes for a reward. He now hears of long life, the beauty, and the great happiness of devas in the realm of the four great kings, the Tava Timsa Devas, the Yama Devas, the Tusita Devas, the Devas who delight in creating, the Devas who wield power over others' creations, and he wishes to be reborn among them. He sets his mind on that thought, keeps to it firmly, and fosters it. This thought of his aims at what is low, and if not developed to what is higher, it will lead him to just such a rebirth. After his death, when the body breaks up, he will be reborn among the devas in the realm of the four great kings, or among the devas who wield power over others' creations. This, however, I declare only for the morally pure, not for the immoral. And it is due to his purity, monks, that the heart's desire of the morally pure succeeds. Then again, a certain person makes a gift to an ascetic or a Brahmin, offering him food, drink, clothing, and vehicles, garlands, scents, and unguents, bedding, lodging, and lighting. He now hears of a long life, the beauty and the great happiness of the devas of Brahma's company, and he wishes to be reborn among them. He sets his mind on that thought, keeps to it firmly, and fosters it. This thought of his aims at what is low, and not, if not developed to what is higher, it will lead him to such a rebirth. After his death, when his body breaks up, he will be reborn among the devas of Brahma's company. This, however, I declare only for the morally pure, not for the immoral, not for the one free of only for the one free of lust, not for one who is lustful. Because he is without lust, monks, the heart's desire of the morally pure succeeds. These, monks, are the 8 kinds of rebirth on account of giving. But that ends that actual part there. Let's go back and look at what the introduction says on this. Section 3. Okay. In section 3, the sections elaborate on the 3 bases of merit individually. And specifically in section 3, they deal with giving and generosity. Dana. Dana, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. The Buddha often treated giving as the most rudimentary virtue of the spiritual life. For giving serves to break down the egocentric frame of mind on the basis of which we habitually interact with others. Contrary to what a Western reader might expect, however, giving for early Buddhism does not mean simply philanthropic charity directed toward the poor and the disadvantaged. While it includes this, the practice structure of the practice of giving has a more context-specific meaning rooted in the social structure of Indian religiosity. In India, during the Buddha's time, those who sought to fathom the deepest truths of existence and attain release from the round of birth and death usually renounced home and family, relinquished their secure place in the cohesive Indian social order, and adopted the precarious life of the homeless wanderer. With shaved heads and matted locks, clad in ochre or white robes, and going naked, they would move from place to place without fixed abode, except during the 3 months of the rainy season, when they would settle in simple huts, caves, or other lodgings. Such homeless wanderers, known as samanas or ascetics or paribhajakas, wanderers, did not perform any remunerative service, but depended upon the charity of householders for their livelihood. The lay devotees provided them with the material requisites, robes, food, lodgings, and medicines, doing so in the confidence that such services were a source of merit that would help them advance a few steps further in the direction of final emancipation. Chapter 5, Section 3, Part 5 testifies to the principle of mutual support, a path that leads to happiness, peace, and final liberation. By accepting the gifts of lay people, the monastics give them the opportunity to acquire merit. Since the volume of merit generated by the act of giving is considered to be proportional to the worthiness of a recipient, when the recipients are the Buddha and those following in his footsteps, the merit becomes immeasurable. For this reason, the Savakasanga, the spiritual community of noble disciples, is called the unsurpassed field of merit for our world. Anuttaram Punaketam Lokasa. Gifts of the Sangha, it is said, conduce to great blessings. They lead to one's welfare and happiness for a long time, and can bring rebirth in the heavenly worlds. But as Chapter 5, Section 3, Part 6 reminds us, this is true only for the morally pure and not the immoral. But yeah, that's what it followed in the introduction. But yeah, so the idea is it's giving because it's the right thing to do. People can't just wait until a more opportune time. If they require the help, help them. If they require the kindness, be kind. Give unto them. You don't just say, well, not right now. I can't right now. Do what you can, is kind of what is being said. Give of yourself. Whether it's your own physical labor, whether it's monetary, whether it's material for something, because he talks, sometimes it's just food, sometimes it's robes, it's lodging, something a lot of rich and wealthy nowadays seem to not understand. Which I find funny, because some of them are supposed to be Buddhist, but nah. You would understand that you need to give your wealth away if you truly believe that. The religion, the ideas of the Buddha and Buddhism pretty much says that's what you need to do. And again, this is something you see in other religions. Giving, kindness, charity. Although nowadays it feels like it's being treated as a bad word. And it's like, no. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, honestly, I feel like government should provide you, regardless, with a lot of what you need anyway. There's certain things that should be given unto the people, but they, especially here in the U.S., they don't want to do that. Yeah, it's sad, but that's where we're kind of at. But anyway, we'll go ahead and end this episode there. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.